Good morning, happy Monday. I am on here really early and I'm letting you into some of my private time. And I was just thinking about how I wanted to put this video up a while ago, so here we are. Good morning. So this is what's going on. I was so excited this past week. So let me tell you first, I had one of these, the past week was one of like a week where I call it, you know how like you have wins and you have fails, and I was just having like a really bad week. Great things were happening, but it was just a whole bunch of stuff happening, and I even had to like phone a friend like, listen, this is going on and I'm so upset about it. And so she so eloquently said to me that sometimes people go after the financial wealth, but look at where you are in your spiritual wealth. And that's not verbatim, but she was like, you have so much spiritual wealth through these circumstances, not financial. So look at that. So I took that and I was like, okay, for me, that's a win. She knew I was going through a week where, you know how like you feel like you're completely failing and you need a win. And last week was just one of those weeks. So yesterday was the end of the week. We had a memorial service for my cousin. I'm going to get really candid in this video because what I want to express in this video will kind of, explain all of it. So we had a memorial service yesterday for a cousin. We had another family member. My great aunt passed away like I think 3 or 4 days after the cousin. So in 1 week we just had situations. I keep calling them situations. And we're not even done with that until after the Thanksgiving holiday. So I was having like one of these, oh my gosh, this and this, help me, because I know you experienced some of these things. I was trying to work in a certain area and it just wasn't working out. So here we go. Long story short, I'm here. We're at Monday, and now I'm sitting here in my journal time. So I'm sitting here on my couch. This is the week before I go back to work. So next Monday, I'll be back at work after my 8-week hiatus from recovering from surgery. I'm still recovering, still a little sore every now and then, but I have made great strides. But I came on this morning because one of the things that my cousin said last week to me, she was like, I've been writing my thoughts down. But what she was talking about was something that she needs me to do later, and that's in another video. But she needs me to help her with a project, and I thought she meant journaling. And I was so excited because when I'm talking to my family or friends, and you guys, I'm always talking about journaling, right? How important it is to me, how I've taken a break just for a little bit from therapy. But last year I did 7 months of continued every 2 weeks therapy. And I'm a proponent of therapy, and I'm not going to give it up. I just took a season off, and then I'll, get back in the chair, because I think it's great for you to have somebody to talk to, a non-biased opinion, and be able to help you sort some of the things out, especially when you have a life as big as mine. And I don't think I realized how big it is, but when you have children, and not just one, I have multiple children. I have a grandchild now. You have a husband, you have sisters, you have siblings, you have I have one parent, you have I have my grandmother who's still alive. I have all of these cousins on both sides. So all of these different nuances go on at any given moment. And the way that I describe it is that life sometimes knocks at your door. And depending on my role, your life is big, because I am the nurturer, the calm you down, sometimes the listener to what goes on, and of course the praying person. So find out what your role is in your family, and sometimes your roles are different. I heard something really great this week, and that same cousin said, I called this person and I just needed them to listen. And I was like, wow, sometimes we don't think that we have purpose in this world, but your purpose could be just to talk and that person and your voice calms the person down. And that seems so insignificant, but it spoke volumes to me. So back to my cousin. So she's telling me, I'm writing these thoughts down, and I'm thinking, I said, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. And she's like, I said, so you're writing in your journal? And she's like, no. And so she tells me what it really is. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So I was excited because I thought she was writing in a journal, but it's another thing that she has to handle later. And she wants me to help her on this project. So for me, I was thinking about the journal, and I want to come on here today and challenge you all to join me. And what I'm doing is finishing my journal. I have so many journals, and Angela, you probably could agree with this. We do this, and we have all of these beautiful, pretty journals. Oh my gosh, you can see a journal, and somebody gives you a new journal. I should show you guys one of the journals that I have up in my crate that my great friend LaShawn gave to me. I just saw her at a baby shower like 2 weeks ago, and all I could think of was the journal that she gave me. It's leather bound. It has this scripture on it, and I won't write in it until I know exactly what I want to write. My dad bought me a journal that looks kind of mystical, and the reason that I have it, it's leather and it ties around, and the reason that I have it, it's like the secret mysteries of God. So I put that in that journal. So I write in that sporadically, but I have journals for days. Sometimes they're composition books. Sometimes you go to a women's conference, and I remember going to one women's conference over with one of our prayer partners, and she invited us, and they gave you a journal. Angela, I think you gave me my happy journal, things that make you happy. So I have all of these journals. So I was thinking this year, since I've been home, this is a journal that my daughter gave me. And it is the scripture from Ruth. Wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you stay, I will stay. And it's Ruth 1:16. I remember she gave this to me because she was working at a store, and they sold this, and I happened to mention something to her. And at that time, I think I was writing my 10-page paper for a class that I took in church. And I was like, trying to decide who did I want to write about, and I was telling her I watched a whole movie of Ruth, and I have a whole different liking, not the Boaz part of Ruth, but I have a whole different liking for their relationship, Ruth and Naomi. So I'm telling her this in my whimsical kind of way when I tell her stories. And so she's like, Mom, here, take this journal. So I have this journal. So I decided when I came home from surgery, in these last couple months, that I needed to write more. And I know that it is, and it has helped me just flush and get all of this stuff that I have going on, whether it's ideas, whether it's feelings, whether it's conversations, whether it's prayers, a prayer list, bullets. Sometimes I start off and I just do bullets, and I'm like, okay, this happened and this happened and this happened. Because just as I said in the beginning, when I talked to my girlfriend about the financial legacy, the spiritual legacy, then I have this legacy that I can also give to my children. I talked about this in another video for the prophetic piece of me, that prophetic gifting, where I have books that are like series. And whenever God gives me vision, dream, word, confirmations, those are in separate books. But this is just my life in totality. And I remember I can't finish this because, or I couldn't finish this. This is my thoughts. I couldn't finish this because who wants to really, sometimes, this is the truth, this is a really transparent moment, with everything that you have going on, it's like your diary. Who wants to even write this stuff out? Because in all honesty, some things that go on, that go on in your life, you don't even want to tell anybody that this is going on in your life. You know, back in your diary days, Dear Diary, you didn't even want anybody to find your diary. So this week has been one of those weeks where I'm like, I did a lot of this week. You know, because I just, in information and sharing about family history, I am like the oldest, like working my way up as like I'm the oldest. I'm the first granddaughter on my first granddaughter, grandchild on my father's side, and first granddaughter on my mother's side. So I'm moving my way up the hierarchy of just in that different, like, who's left, what you need to know in your family kind of situation. And so in this past week, I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that, and I didn't know that, and I didn't know that. And so I don't want anybody to dig through my journal to pick out that stuff. But this is helping me, blessing me in this time of recovery and healing, talking about how I feel, the grieving portion. Because just thinking about the memorial service that we went to yesterday, I attend a lot of services. So I need a place to grieve and just deal with the loss of people, right? Then I talked about this week how the book of Psalms has helped me. And I want to do a video in it by itself, or just a class by itself, just about Psalms and how deep that book is about praise, and about how David really felt. And like, you can see where he's going back to God. Did you leave me? Did you do this? Are you out there? Like, what's going on? And so oftentimes that's how we feel. We don't express it, and sometimes we're acting out. And so I've even taken this journal and I've been writing. Like, some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, well, let me find a Psalms that like just hits me where it needs to hit me. So what am I doing there? I'm writing the Psalms. I'm getting in the Word. I'm hearing what God has to say about it. I have scripture to relate to my true feelings. I'm also getting better at memorizing His Word because I'm writing it down. So that's what Psalms. So there's some Psalms in here too. Anything that I can do, and there's tape, and there's cards. There's thank you cards. I'll just show you thank you cards from, this is when I first started the book, and my flower, and I showed you guys in this. I showed you this in another video. My card from my grandmother. I tipped it in and taped it in. From when she gave me a plant, and I talked about that, all of these different things. I know this is a long video, but the challenge is that you would finish your journal. Finish your journal, girl. I know that this is the end of the year, so my goal is to, I actually want to number these pages. This is what the back looks like of my journal. I put this scripture in here and taped it in, and I have a pocket. It's do not be discouraged. And then I have another thank you card from the actual hospital. And then I have, by December 31st, I want to have new skills. And so I started this book in October, and I want to be finished it by December 31st. So I have to write and finish. This is the last page of my journal, and I'm going to finish this journal by December 31st. So today is November, what is the day? 24th, 25th? I have some days left of this month, and then I have the entire month of December. It takes some discipline, but you see I'm up at 8:30 this morning, and I'm like, I'm going to go sit here and write. I have fountain pens, so I'm going to get writing, which I love fountain pens. This is another one that I have. And I just write, and I write, and I dump, and and I get it out of me. And then when it's time to move away, I just move away. Sometimes I get artistic. So whatever you need to do, I have pastels, I have markers, I have gel highlighters, I have tape, you name it. I have a whole box full of arts and craft supplies, color pencils. And if I just feel like coloring, because I might not want to write, I just need to pick a flower and pick a theme, or birds, or whatever it is that I have going on, where I see myself, what picture am I seeing, a word, hope. Like, I'm in a hope season right now. My fish passed away on Saturday. And so my fish's name was Overflow. And so that's significant for me because I picked that name, and I had Overflow since I believe the summer of 2017. And so much has happened during that time. So I was like, oh my gosh, overflow is gone. Does that mean my overflow is gone? So I wanted one child to help me name my fish. And I sent a text message and said, ask your son, could he help me name my fish, my next fish? And so she said esperanza, but that's a word that I told her, which means hope and expectation in Spanish. So that's what my new fish will be named when I get it. And so now I'm just in the season of hope, but expectation, that we were in the overflow and now we are expecting the overflow, if you get that. So I got to write about my fish. So I'll be sitting here for a while, dumping everything that went on last week, because I missed some days. Some days I can just every day it. Some days I can every other day. But with this week, it's been, a lot going on. So I'm going to just sit here and just write about all of it. And I'm going to finish this journal. That is my goal, to finish this journal by December 31st. So I came on this morning to just say, finish your journal, girl. That whatever book that you have, you'll see that you can look back, put your pictures in it. I have prayer lists. Even some days, I want to go back to, what's her name? Tina Linford right now is helping me when she goes back and just reads some things. She has a book right now about the lies that we tell ourselves. What date was this? November 7th. And so sometimes I just break out and just write a prayer right in there. And I write James, the scripture 4:19, 4 and 8. Come near to me, and he will come near to you. Clean up your life, sinners. This is a different version. Purify your hearts, you people who can't make up your mind. And that's just James 4 and 8. And that was November the 7th. And then I talked about my self-care. And my self-care, part of my self-care is watching the show The Real. Different seasons of my life. The Real's been out, I think, for 6 or 7 years now. Every time I watch that show, like I watch Girl Chat, and I just I crack up. And so for right now, my self-care during that day was The Real, the Bible, the journal, quiet time, and just going outside, because I was trying to heal. And I have goals in here, and I have the scripture, and I have a prayer list, and I have a considerable amount of people on this prayer list. And so there's no rules with the journal. It's just go. Pin your Psalms. I have Psalms 23 written. And I believe Psalms 32. And then I just talk about so many different things. So this video is super, super long. And this is part of my self-care as well. I believe when I write it all down, I'm giving myself a funnel onto the paper that I don't have to hold a lot of those thoughts in. And I'm a better person. I leave it there. I don't have to keep gnawing over it, ruminating over it with different people. I don't have to get on conversations on the phone about certain things. I'm really watching over gossiping and how much of that we do. So I'm able to just, if I have a certain situation or feeling or anything about something that wasn't handled well, I just take it to the paper. And then if I need to say something later, I have stickers. So I have Jesus on some page. I have faith on some pages because I may need a little more faith. I have that hope on some pages because I need some hope. So you can imagine. And I've just been writing as much as I can, and it has been helping me. So thank you so much for listening to this video. You guys have an awesome day. I challenge you to finish your journal. Maybe you're great at that. I'm not. And it's a goal that I want to work on, and actually finish this journal and move on to the next journal, and that be the next cycle of life that God has given me. I'm at chapter 46 of my life, chapter 11, almost 12, and get ready to move into a new year. And there's so much that I could have talked about in all of those younger years. I would have journals upon journals about things. I have a box, and I'll show you guys a box that I have upstairs. It's a box full of journals, but they're not finished. They just have, sporadic situations going on when I was going through different things. But I want to be a finisher. I want to start strong, and I want to finish strong in this season. So I hope that this blesses you with all of my popcorning around, but no, it's from my heart. And you guys take care. Any questions, hopefully you'll join me. Leave it in the comments when you're able to watch it. Put a picture up of your journal, and let's finish it. December 31st, let's come on and just celebrate that win, that we sat there, that we were disciplined enough to just write and get all of the things out and be able to move into a new year and a better self in a new season in our life. All right, you guys be blessed. Take care.